All right, so good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to have a nice, gentle class today. Um, really going inside and finding that place of balance inside. So let's start off in child's pose. Move right into child's pose. Move into child's pose in a very conscious, aware manner, though. Sit back on those heels and then just float yourself forward, just melting very gently. And noticing where your body is now, first pose of the day. And it's a beautifully relaxing pose, but it can also be challenging when we first move into it. So let your legs be where they need to be, and then slowly press yourself back further and further towards your heels as your body warms up. You can let your hands be wherever they are. It could be a pillow, they could be straight out. And I'd like you to think of your breath as it moves in and out naturally as this beautiful cleansing movement, moving in and down and up and out. Just kind of rearranging everything inside of you, your thoughts, your emotions, places in your physical body where you may be feeling some disease. Letting your breath balance all of that. I'd like to talk a little bit about the concept of balance, of the middle path. In Buddhism, they use the language, the middle path, and the middle path was something that the Buddha came to after giving up everything he owned, leaving his home and traveling as a beggar, really living the life of an extreme ascetic, giving up everything. And he did that for quite a while, thinking that was the way to enlightenment. And then at some point, he realized that his suffering was not going to help to end the suffering of others. He realized that there had to be an in-between, someplace between total self-indulgence and selfishness and total self-mortification. And that is the middle path that he began to speak of. And the middle path to me is that place that it's kind of like my husband has a navigation system on his boat. And he has things plugged in where he's been before. And so there's this red line that when you're driving the boat, you're supposed to try to follow in order to get to where you want to go. And sometimes when I'm driving, I veer off that red line. It doesn't mean I'm going to crash into something. It just means I'm not going in the direction that I would like to go. And that to me is the middle path. It's this idea of where we would like to go, how we would like to live our lives, how we would like to react to different situations, who we'd like to show up in this world. And as we navigate through our humanness, sometimes we stay pretty steady to that path, and other times we veer off to the right, we veer off to the left. And we're always trying to move back to balance that middle point. And what I've come to realize is that left and that right, they're not mistakes. They're necessary. I need to do that. If the Buddha hadn't gone out and, just really launched himself into this life of self-mortification, he wouldn't have come to the realization of the middle path. So it was necessary for him to do that. It's necessary for us to do the things that we might think of as mistakes in this world. The more that we move through this life with conscious awareness and the ability to give ourselves a break, again, another balance, then the easier it is to follow that red line that we've created and even adjust it when we feel like maybe there's another place that we would like to head, right? Because this is a fluid life. We make choices every day. So I'm going to read a reading from this book I've been reading, Heart Talk. I did not lose the lesson. I did a lot of things not the right way. Some may even call them mistakes. I just call them scars that keep me from touching the oven too long when it's hot. Life doesn't always hand us the easy road. Life does not always allow for us to be in the right frame of mind to always do the right thing at the right time. To know this is to remember that you are human. We're not born knowing the best way to navigate the worst circumstances. We're all more than our mistakes. Our mistakes do not make us bad people. Our mistakes, when met with awareness and personal responsibility, are actually what introduce us to our best selves. You are beautiful because of all of your experiences, the good, the bad, and the imperfect. So thinking about that in terms of your own life, the balance between the doing and the being, the balance between the enjoying and the service. Do you show up for yourself as much as you show up for others? Is there a need for a different balance there? Ask yourself where in your life you can bring this idea of finding that middle path, beginning to really move toward that defined line in your heart. Where can you do that a little bit more? And what would that look like? Maybe a little bit of forgiveness for your harsh judgments of yourself or others. Right? Maybe noticing when you're stuck in a pattern, right? Because we all get stuck in these patterns. We all have an addiction of some type or another, right? Just something that we go to, that we move through very automatically, very unconsciously, sometimes against our own will, right? Like, reaching for that pint of ice cream at 11:30 at night. Sometimes, well, it's not 11:30 anymore because I'm way sleeping before then, but I know if I'm going to eat that ice cream before I go to bed, my body's not going to like it. And sometimes I just do it. And the next day I wake up and say, why did I do that? My belly doesn't feel good. So, where in your life do you have some kind of automatic pattern that you can look at that the energy of balance can help you to move out of, away from? Just some thoughts to move through your day and your practice. Here, begin to deepen that breath, really filling your front and your back body. And as you inhale, imagine the energy moving in through your nostrils, up through your crown. And as you exhale, imagine it moving all the way down to your root chakra. And on the next inhale, again, all the way up to the crown chakra. And as you exhale, down to the second chakra, just below your navel. Next inhale, up to the crown. As you exhale, down to the third chakra, the solar plexus. Inhaling up to the crown. Exhaling to the heart center. Inhaling up to the crown. Exhaling right to the throat. Inhaling up to the crown, and as you exhale, imagine your entire third eye, your forehead, your scalp tingling with pranic energy. And then inhaling up to the crown and exhaling, letting that light float out through your crown into the room, feeling that sense of wholeness, completeness, unity. And returning to your natural breath, slowly begin to come up onto your fingertips. And then gently and mindfully walk your body over to the right. Let yourself settle in there. Noticing the openness of your left side body, and still allowing your right side body freedom. But maybe noticing the difference between that total openness of the left, a little crunching of the right. And then moving back to center, going to the other side, all the way to the left. This time feeling that openness on the left. And really working for some freedom on the right. I'm sorry, wrong way. The right side body is open, the left is not. Two nice deep breaths here. And then coming back to center. Walking yourself up to a seat. Bringing your hands to your heart center. Eyes closed. We'll open with Om Namo, Guru Dev Namo. Nice deep inhale. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Pause and feel. Take a deep breath in. Pull the pelvic floor up. Squeeze the navel center up and back. Holding that breath in. And exhaling completely. Moving into our next chant, Ad Gare Name, as a celestial communication chant. So it's Ad Gare Name at the heart center. Jagad Gare Name at the third eye. Sat Gare Name, opening up to the universe. And then Siri Guru Deve Name, palms together back to your own heart. 3 times. Ad Gare Name. Jugad Gure Name Sa Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugad Gure Name Sa Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugad Gure Name Sa Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name. Pause and feel the chanting that we do when we connect to that energy of peace and protection. That brings a balance to our nervous system, even to our mind. A gentle reminder that we're always protected from those stories we tell ourselves that create fear, that tell us that we are less than we are because we are all so magnificent. Those silly minds just don't know it all the time. And opening your eyes, keep your hands where they are. We're going to press the fingertips together. And then instead of just the fingertips, you're also going to begin to press into the hands a little bit harder so that the first joint also comes together. Right? So your palms are apart, just the very first joint of the fingers. Yep, perfect, March. The thumbs are going to come to the heart. Fingers are pointing up. We're going to do a little bit of a breath meditation. It's for, what is it for? It's for balance. But what kind of balance? Maybe I won't tell you. No. It's for mental, spiritual, and emotional balance. And so what you're going to do is take a deep inhale through your nose. And you're going to exhale in 8 puffs of breath out of a rounded mouth, but it doesn't have to be a very powerful exhale, just kind of puffs. So and you're going to pump your navel with each breath, with each puff, just a gentle pumping of the navel. Right? So a deep inhale and begin. Keep going, and it's going to be eye focused at the nose if you can. Your eyes closed, but your eyes focused down towards your nose, putting some pressure on that pituitary gland, allowing some of those feel-good chemicals to move through, really activating that pituitary gland. It's the connection to our intuition, our true seeing. And that true seeing is a big part of balance, because when we can really see ourselves as we really are, as we truly are, when we can really see others as they truly are, it's a lot easier to not fall into those patterns of behavior, in relationships especially, with family, with friends. We can look past the old patterns. If we approach someone or ourselves as if they're always going to be how they've always been, then there's no space for change. There's no space for moving back and forth. We forget that we're fluid beings, that nothing defines us totally and completely, except for the fact that we are this soul that never changes, that we are perfection. Anything else is fluid. Anything else is a story that can be edited and altered, and will be many, many times in our human journey. 1 more minute. This breath and this mudra trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest reaction, letting go of the tension and the stress, that fight or flight mode that we tend to visit way more than we need to. And after the next exhale, just return to your natural breath. Keep the mudra. Take a deep inhale, squeezing everything up again and pressing your palms, your hands together really hard. Just hold everything in and press, 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 press. Hold as long as you can, not until you pass out. And as you exhale, relax the tension in your hands. Let your hands float to your knees. And just feel for a moment, notice any sensations in the body, any place where the energy is settling down, settling in. And opening your eyes, inhale your arms out to a T. Take an inhale. As you exhale, twist to the left, bringing your right hand to the left side of your heart and really twisting back, opening. Inhale back to center, exhale, move in the other direction. And just keep going. As you move that arm back, really stretch it back as if you're really moving into the deepest twist that you can find. Close your eyes. Find your rhythm. Our breath is balanced as well. We have 5 vayus, 5 different breaths, but the 2 breaths that really move us through this world are opposite sides of the same stick. It's the prana, the breath that brings that nourishment in, and the apana, the elimination, the breath that releases that which no longer serves. Next time that your right hand comes toward your heart, leave them both there. Just pause and feel. With your hand still on your heart, begin to cat-cow, inhaling forward, exhaling back. Do that a few times to really get that spine moving. And then begin to bring the arms up and out as your heart comes forward and back onto your heart as you move back. Opening, gathering, bringing it back inside. It's a dance that we do all the time. How much do we take in and how much do we give out? Especially when we're dealing with those that are closest to us that we love, that, right, our children, our parents. There's this idea that we have to sacrifice if we really love somebody, and what does sacrifice mean? I mean, there are times that I will quote unquote sacrifice my time. I won't go somewhere that I wanted to go because I want to spend time with my kids. So is that really sacrifice? No, it's a choice. I don't believe that true sacrifice where we suffer because we don't do something to take care of ourselves is really part of that balance that our soul is looking for. The next time you open up, stay there. And then let your hands flow down to your sides, fingertips on the floor. Begin to walk your right hand over to the right. Your left arm comes up over your left ear, reaching toward the right. Inhale your right arm so that it's parallel to your left. Come all the way up and then move to the other side. Stay here for a breath. Bring that left hand up so it's parallel to the right. Flow to the other side and keep going. Pausing each time for a moment for a breath as your hand touches the floor. Coming nice and long in that side body on each side. Really taking that moment to lift that hand up so it's parallel. It's so important when we move through life that we first find our set point, that we engage what we're doing, that we move consciously, that we don't just run through the door. I can't tell you how many times in my lifetime I've asked myself, what was I thinking? And the answer is that I wasn't thinking, that I didn't think things through, that my ego mind has this sense of urgency sometimes, or this sense of if I don't take care of this right now, then something horrible is going to happen. And so I rush into things, or I try to fix problems that aren't really problems, or aren't mine to fix. So when we learn to pause and to really set ourselves up so that we have the strength, that we're in the right position to bring some good into a situation, then again, life looks so different. The next time that your arms are reaching up, keep them up. Reach up to the sky. Then hands down to the knees, eyes closed. With your eyes closed, begin to circle your torso around your pelvis, opening up your hips. And what I've noticed is that now that I've stopped running in like a bull in a china closet to try to save the day with my kids when they're having issues, they come to me with more issues because I don't react that way. I'm a much calmer space. I listen. And then I allow them to let me know when they want me to come rushing in with my cape. So they still let me use my cape, but they actually get a say in their own lives while I'm using that cape. The next time you come forward, pause, move in the other direction. And come to stillness. And we're going to move into a short kriya to balance the aura. So our electromagnetic field is the first thing that people feel when we interact with them. So balance there. It's like the steering wheel, right? If we're balanced in our auric field, then we have a much better chance of staying on the road. So this is it's a gentle, simple kriya. It starts like this. Bring your hands up like this so that your elbows are facing forward, your fingers are spread nice and wide. And then flip your hands and then bring them together right in front of your eyes. Your eyes stay open. And you're going to inhale and bring your arms away a little bit. Exhale back. Inhale away, exhale back. Inhale away, exhale back. And just keep going. Your eyes are going to stay open and you're going to stare at those fingers as they open and close in front of your eyes. Let your breath accompany the movement of your hands. So it's not breath of fire, but it's not slow either. Margie's pace is perfect. Take a peek at Margie. Her pace is perfect. Just keep going. We're going to do this for one more minute. This exercise strengthens the eyes, the physical eyes, but also the intuitive eyes. Clears energy that's standing in the way. The things that we see are sometimes an illusion of our experiences and our fears. So when we move the energy of those illusions out of the way, we begin to see things in a different perspective. We may see somebody's gruffness as fear or sadness. Maybe someone that we thought was very snobby and standoffish, all of a sudden we realize that they're just shy and insecure. Next time your arms come open, let them stay open. Close your eyes, close your hands down to your knees, palms facing down, and just feel. Maybe notice your eyes gazing at the back of your eyelids. See what you see. Maybe nothing, maybe blackness, maybe colors. Maybe a sense of an infinite horizon. From here, move on to your hands and knees, coming into tabletop. Do a few cat-cows here. Maybe a hip roll or two, whatever your body needs to stretch a little bit before we make our way to our feet for a short time. And then coming to stillness, you're going to press into those hands. Maybe move your hands a little further forward. Press into your hands, curl those toes, raise your hips up to the sky, stretch into downward facing dog. Walk it out a little bit. Really stretch, making sure that your head is not hanging, that your neck is an extension of the rest of your spine. And then as you come to center, begin to mindfully walk your feet towards your hands. Once you find yourself in Uttanasana, hanging forward fold, grab opposite elbows, let your body sway from side to side. And releasing those hands, bending your knees, placing your hands on your hips. Rise up ever so slowly, coming up to stand. Once you get there, you're going to step your left foot back. We're going to move into archer pose. So your back foot is kind of parallel to the mat behind you, like warrior two. That front knee is bent, but not moving over the toes. Bring your right arm straight out, thumb up. Your left hand is going to come back as if it was pulling a bow. And you're going to begin to inhale, straighten that front leg a little bit, come up, exhale, bounce back down. Inhale, straighten a little, exhale, bounce back down, and just keep going. Eyes straight ahead, wide open, looking at what's in front of you, at where you're headed. Noticing if you're navigating along that line. Are you veering off of your path? And if you are, can you be okay with that? Can you give yourself permission to be human, to veer off the path? Because sometimes what feels like a mistake is not, just like in that reading. Maybe the path needs to evolve a little bit. Maybe your vision of where you wanted to go 10 years ago is not the same vision you have. Maybe it's been altered, and maybe sometimes we need a little bit of permission from ourselves to not necessarily stand for what we used to stand for. The next time that you come up, stay up. Let your hands drop to your sides. Parallel both feet so that you're standing on the wide end of your mat. Yep. And just for a moment, inhale your arms up, exhale, dive down into a wide-legged forward fold. Move your hips from side to side. Maybe move your hands so that they're on either ankle. And begin to wiggle from side to side here, making it a little bit of a deeper stretch. A little bit more of a conscious effort to balance. And the next time you come to center, stay there. Take your hands, place them on your hips, bend your knees slightly. Come on up to stand. And this time your left toes are going to point forward. Your right foot will be behind you, moving back into that archer pose. So the left arm is straight out, thumb up, right arm pulled back. And you're going to begin that same journey, inhaling up slightly, exhaling down, and just keep bouncing and moving. Eyes fixed on the horizon. Breath moving as you bounce. Everything in our lives has a balance, has an opposite, and has a middle path. We laugh and we cry. We play hard and we sleep hard. We inhale and we exhale. We fill our bellies and then they digest and they empty. The middle path is the path of contentment. The next time that you come up, stay up. Let your hands come down to your sides. And this time you're just going to step that back foot forward so that it meets your front and you're standing at the front of your mat, the top of your mat. Inhale your arms wide around and up. Exhale down to the heart center, dive all the way down to the floor. Inhale wide, rising up, exhaling, palms together, diving down. Do that a few more times. And the next time that your fingertips touch the floor, let them rest there. Bend your knees, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Take one more stretch in downward facing dog. And then lower your knees and come on to your belly. Bringing your hands next to your lower ribs. You're going to press into those hands, raise your shoulders, raise your head, moving into cobra. And then from cobra, press yourself up into downward facing dog. Glide back to cobra and back to dog. Go at your own pace. We're just going to do this for a minute, moving between the two poses. Finding what works for your body, maybe chin, head, and chest, maybe chaturanga, maybe lowering those knees first. And just keep flowing. You can close your eyes and we'll let this be an internal dance. We allow ourselves to blindly stay stuck in our patterns. We move out of the flow of life, out of the dance of life. The next time that you come up in a downward facing dog, stay there. And slowly again, walk your feet towards your hands. And slowly rise up. Now walk to the back right-hand corner of your mat. We're going to take a little walking meditation. If you don't have a mat, if you have carpet instead, just picture where the mat would be. We're going to take a little walking meditation around our mat. So what I want you to do is place one foot in front of the other very slowly, walking around the edge of your mat. So you're going to walk down the right side of your mat. Yep, very slowly. And when you come to the front, you're just going to take that little turn. Noticing how important it is to be so mindful in order to maintain your balance. It would be a lot easier to do a little jog around your mat. But you take in every step, every nuance. We take in life so much more fully when we move through it intentionally. The beautiful thing is the more we practice slowing down and taking it all in, the easier it is to automatically begin to take things in when we do pick up our pace a little bit. The easier it is when you're rushing to an appointment to notice the beautiful sunrise in the sky and maybe pause for a minute. We begin to reprogram ourselves. The next time that you come to that where you started, just pause there. And take a couple of breaths into Tadasana. Arms at your sides. Palms open, really giving the universe the message that you are so open to receive. all the beauty, all the gifts of this life, gifts in all forms, abundance in all forms. And feel your heart as open as those palms, sending the message that you are just as willing to give those riches back out to the world. That abundance that flows in and flows out and flows in and flows out. When we connect to that balance, fear seems to dissolve. Life becomes this beautiful smorgasbord of opportunities and interactions that we get to choose from and choose again and choose again. Take that in. Let your hands float to your heart center for a moment. Feel the pure love that you are. And then slowly take one more meditative walk to the front of your mat. Inhale your arms out and wide, up and over, palms together, dive down. Planting your hands, stepping one foot back and then the other. Knees gently touch the mat. And move yourself into a comfortable seat. You can put a blanket underneath you if you'd like. This is the very last part of the Kriya. So sitting nice and comfortably, you're going to bring your hands onto your knees, palms up, the thumb and the pointer finger together in Gyan Mudra. Close your eyes. Focus up at the third eye. And we're going to chant Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Jio. And on each Wahe, you're just going to take a quick breath of fire. All right, so just like a quick in and out. So a little pumping of the navel. All right, we're going to do this for 3 minutes, not the 14 that the Kriya calls for. Does that make sense to everybody? The quick breath of fire? Okay. All right, so eyes closed and let's begin. Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Jio, 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 Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Geo, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, Wahe Geo. Deep inhale. Fill with breath. Take a little more in, a little more in. Hold, hold, hold. Relax the rest of your body as your entire spine just tenses and tightens and pushes that energy up through the crown of your head. And exhale. Eyes closed. Silent meditation for 1 minute. And then opening your eyes. Move on to hands and knees. We're just going to balance for a moment before we make our way to our backs. And once you get there, really distribute your weight evenly between your hands, your knees, your toes. Checking your spine, making sure that that neck is an extension of the rest of your spine, not letting it drop. Pausing here to notice that this pose is such a pose of pure balance. This pose is representative of the way that we're looking to live our lives. Weight evenly balanced, breath flowing gently, resting yet active. From here, take your right hand, bring it out in front of you. And then let that left foot glide back and off the mat. Really extending from the fingertips and the heel, engaging your core. And then leaving that arm where it is, slowly bring the knee back down. And then mindfully bring the hand back down. Moving to the other side, the left hand moving forward. Right leg up and back. Stretching, reaching, engaging. Hand stays as the knee slowly makes its way down, releasing. And then mindfully bringing the hand back. Take a few hip rolls here. Noticing if there's anything in particular that your body wants before we make our way to our backs. And when you feel ready, you can come to stillness and make your way down to the mat. Letting your spine rest against the earth. So with knees bent, feet planted, take your right ankle, place it on your left knee. And then reach in for that left thigh, pulling back, maybe pressing your right knee forward with your elbow. Shin parallel to the ground. Toes flexed on both feet. And then releasing your arms out to a T, begin to float the sole of the right foot down to the left. So you're going to step onto the floor to the left with your right foot, moving into a spinal twist. You can't see anybody, so I'm going to assume that you guys are good. Coming back to center, letting both legs float up to the sky. Bring your arms straight up as well. Let your lower back and your shoulders release. And then shake your arms and shake your legs, moving that energy around. Coming to stillness. Letting your hands float down, your knees bend, feet planting on the floor. Taking your left ankle this time, placing it on your right knee, and reaching in, pulling the left thigh back, the right thigh back. Getting a nice opening here in your hips. Checking to make sure that you're not causing any unnecessary tension in any part of your body. If you feel that you're squeezing somewhere or that you're taking away space, see if you can adjust to open a little bit, to find more freedom. And bringing the arms out to a T. Left sole moves to the right, stepping down onto the floor. Shoulders stay glued to the mat, opening up into a spinal twist. And slowly bringing everything up, arms and legs straight up to the sky. Little shake one more time. And coming to stillness, letting everything settle onto the mat, taking any final stretches or twists or back bends that would feel good right now. And then settling into your most restful, balanced Shavasana. As you lie in Shavasana, see if you can find that middle path inside of you. Finding the freedom to allow life to constantly flow and move through us without resisting, without grasping. The middle path is all about non-attachment, non-aversion, allowing life to move through us, soaking in every moment of it. I'm going to read a quote by a gentleman named Gaura Gopal Das. As we balance ourselves externally and internally, it's fundamental to our success that we never let go of the steering wheel, our spirituality. Always paying attention to that center point, the center of your heart. The fourth chakra, the balancing point between the physical chakras, chakras of consciousness. What if you took a step back, saw your life as the work of art it is, made beautiful by tireless perfectionism and ultimate lack of control, treasured creations and unseen shadows, internal battles and conflicting thoughts, all together striking balance, contrast, a wilderness of human intricacy. Begin to deepen your breath. Letting your breath bring you back into your physical body, moving those fingers and toes, taking any stretch or yawn. Feels good. And as you bring your knees in toward your chest, bring the palms of your hands, the soles of your feet together. Just rub, creating that reminder of the fire in your belly, your beautiful personality always shining to the world. And then either rocking over to your right or rocking up and down in your spine. Come up to a seat. Eyes closed, hands at the heart center, Anjali Mudra. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Please join me in sealing our practice with a long Sat Nam. Deep, deep inhale. Sat Nam. Sliding your thumbs to the space between your brow, dropping your chin into your own beautiful radiance. Be love, believe, be true to you. Sat Nam.